It's hard to watch this for many reasons, but for years and years, this horrific part of U.S. history was hidden. It was not in my high school social studies class, and I don't think it was in yours. What do you want Americans to know about what happened there 100 years ago?
Thank you, Stephanie. I want them to know that, I'm 61 years old, and it wasn't taught to me in schools, even here in the Black community. Nobody talked to me about it in my family until I was in my early 30s, when my grandmother's brother, my great uncle, came to Tulsa for a family reunion and gave me a VHS tape. Many people may not know what that is, but I learned about it in my 30s. And what I want people to know is this is a horrific incident, one of the worst massacres of Americans upon Americans, domestic terrorism that happened against people and businesses. And we're still suffering the effects. And the first part of what we're doing is just trying to tell that story transparently, what happened before 1921, what happened on that day, what happened after that, and then how it was destroyed again by urban renewal. And then what happened after that, the resilience. And there are many more things that have to happen, but I believe the story needs to be told transparently in an effective way. And that's what's going to be happening on June 2nd when we open this history center around telling the history. And then there are many more complex issues we're going to be addressing at that time.
Why didn't you learn about it? Why hasn't it been part of American history?
Well, people called it Tulsa's dirty secret. I think the people in the government at the time were embarrassed by it, even though we believe because of the Red Summer from 1918 through 1921 or so, this happened across the country. So we believe that the Dick Rowland, Sarah Page story was an excuse, but I think they were embarrassed by it. And then a lot of progressive Black business owners fled to Chicago, to California, and other places. And people were taken into internment camps. And I believe that some of the people that stayed here feared that it would happen again. So it wasn't talked about in the Black community, and it wasn't talked about in the white community.
President Biden will be visiting Tulsa tomorrow. What do you want to hear from him?
Well, I just think that this is sacred ground. This is a sacred moment. I'm just hoping not just the president, but people here in our city and our state, we come together to not just commemorate this moment, which is very important, but there are some other issues that need to be addressed to make our community whole again. We lost a lot. And so I think that the dialogue with the government, city, state, and federal government, needs to be significant. It needs to happen now. And I think that the fact that the president is coming here says that he, at the federal level, acknowledges it. And I think that we need to do that at every level, and then start not just the healing, but the types of things that will make this community whole again.